An 18-year-old man allegedly caught in the act of trying to steal a parked car. The owner of that vehicle taking matters into his own hands.
A lot of you don't know this, but I'm gonna let you know now. I've been going to the range a lot. I've been working with an instructor. I'm a gun instructor, safety coach, and I've been doing very well. I've been really coming along because I realize the importance of the Second Amendment. And if that's a right for me to have, then that's exactly what I'm gonna have. Because I'm a property owner, I have my own family. You know what I mean? I have other things that we worked hard for, and I want to protect that as well. There's certain things that I want to pass on to my kids, and I want to leverage in order to make sure that we're good for decades, potentially centuries to come. So I ran across this video with Colion Noir, as you saw in the thumbnail, and this right here is kind of scary because in the city of Philadelphia, they are robbing people for their cars and other things at gunpoint all the time. This one right here has to do with them stealing somebody's car who was not around their car while it was being stolen, but a shootout started because the young guy saw that they was taking their car. He has a courier permit, and he was trying to get them away from his car, and there was a shootout.
So I came across a story about a man who got into a full-on gun battle when he walked on two people trying to steal his car.
Philadelphia police say it was an attempted car theft that backfired, leading to shots fired here in Tacony. An 18-year-old man allegedly caught in the act of trying to steal a parked car. The owner of that vehicle taking matters into his own hands.
More than a dozen shots were fired. A car was stolen, and then it would be shot at and crashed into a Jeep. A stray bullet would fly into a home, and these are the moments just before an 18-year-old suspect would collapse after being shot 4 times. The 18-year-old and another suspect were in the process of stealing this Toyota Corolla, but the 26-year-old owner came outside. He was armed with a permit to carry, according to police, and in that moment, detectives say the 18-year-old got out of the car with a gun, and a shootout between him and the owner erupted.
The 18-year-old collapsed. They found his mask. They also found a handgun that they believe that the 18-year-old had in his possession.
The other suspect managed to drive off in the Toyota, but crashed it yards later into this Jeep. That Jeep belongs to the man who lives in the home the stray bullet flew into. He didn't want to speak on camera, but says the bullet flew past his head as he worked in his office.
And there are some people who believe that if it weren't for the young guy going out there shooting at the assailants, then no gunshots would have been coming back towards his home or going into the windows of someone else. I want to hear what y'all got to say about that. I have my thoughts.
He didn't want to speak on camera, but says the bullet flew past his head as he worked in his office.
So this story struck a chord with me because I think it perfectly exemplifies the inherent complexity of self-defense shootings and how unfair it is for legal gun owners who simply want to protect themselves and their property. I recently got a truck that is currently being stolen a lot. And as a result, I put a system on the truck that will notify me immediately if someone is tampering with my truck. See, a lot of people who have the same truck have the same system in it. So naturally, if we get a notification that someone might be trying to steal our truck, we're gonna go outside and see what's going on. And because I'm always usually carrying, I'm probably gonna have a gun on me when I do it.
And that's gonna be some trouble, because guess what? It ain't gonna be a big old shootout if Colion Noir is shooting at you, because this brother shoots. And if he shoot, he gonna hit you. He gonna hit you. I don't care how far you are, if you're moving. This brother, he practices. So it's not gonna be a whole bunch of back and forth.
And because I'm always usually carrying, I'm probably gonna have a gun on me when I do it. So the question remains, if I go outside to see what's going on, and like in this story, there are 2 guys trying to steal my truck, and when confronted, one of them has a gun, at what point is it okay to legally use my gun in self-defense? You see, Texas is the only state that I'm aware of that has an actual law that says you can use deadly force to defend movable, tangible property. And even that law has the requirement that it has to be at night. So generally speaking, you can't just start dumping rounds at someone simply because they're trying to steal your car.
Now, that's where I was getting at. So you got somebody in Philadelphia. You have a carrying, license, which is good, right? You have a carrying license. and you're going outside, you see somebody still in your car, you try and get them to stop. They fire at you first, you can return fire, I believe. I believe you can return fire if they fire at you first. But if they're just trying to steal your car, I don't think you have a right to shoot at them in Philadelphia. In Texas, might be different. And he said at night, but people get, we're going to talk. Let's check this out.
If the people stealing your car also have guns, at what point is now your life in danger enough where you can use deadly force to protect yourself? It's not as clear as you think, because the criminal simply having a gun doesn't automatically get you to justifiable use of deadly force. There are a bunch of factors that come into play that either make your action justified or unjustified. And if you ask me, it's insanely frustrating. Because as a legal gun owner, we already have so much to worry about when it comes to defending our lives. And now on top of that, we kind of sort of have to become legal scholars and make complex analysis in what will likely be one of the most terrifying experiences of our lives. The criminal, on the other hand, can just start shooting without thinking. But we're forced to make legal decisions in an instant that I spent 3 years in law school learning. It's truly up how a criminal can force you to make a decision that can land you in jail or sued into eternity, and all you were doing was trying not to die or have your property stolen.
That's true. Now, I have somebody in my stream right now, Animal HK streams, who believe that guns are all bad, period. That if you got a gun, it can end up with somebody being killed. Here's the one thing, though, and I mean no disrespect when I say this, but criminals carry guns. Citizens need to carry guns as well, okay? If a criminal has a gun and they can just fire on you whenever, I guess you're just going to call the authorities, or you're going to wait until help comes to help you out. Well, we've seen many times where if someone who was capable was around with a gun, even in these school shootings, if they had someone around with a gun, or inside of the stores where Walmart shootings or theater shootings, where there's usually no one around that has a gun, a good guy with a gun, they could have prevented that. You're not going through the school shooting all willy-nilly if a security guard or an officer is around with a gun. You're not. It's not happening. Because just like the last school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, apparently was it a woman that was transitioning into a man? This person made sure they went to the school with the least amount of security. Since they went there before, they knew that there was no security. So they went there. If there was somebody there with a gun, they wouldn't have gotten nearly as far as they was. And it looked like they shot 3 teachers who were in the age of 60, 61. I think 2 of them was 61 and 1 was 60 years old. And they shot 3 students. If one of those teachers, administrators, would have had a gun, it could have went another way. They could have protected their kids. They could have protected other people. And, you know, we never know. But at the end of the day, if we always look at it as a negative, we need to understand that when wars happen, both sides need to be prepared. Like, you need to be prepared. If you're not prepared, listen, prayer ain't going to get you out of it. Sorry, it's not. Okay? If you know karate, that may help, but you got to have something that's going to protect you and the people around you that you love. If you don't have anybody with you that you love and that you care to protect, then I can see why you will automatically be against guns and just say, oh, he shouldn't have had a gun in the first place. Let them have your stuff. Let them attack you. Let them break up in your house and do whatever they want to do. But what Colion Noir is saying is saying right now, 1,000% the truth. Because if someone breaks up in your house, right, and you are to kill them or you are to shoot them, and they just so happen to, did something horrible and they're running out and you shoot them in the back of their leg, they can sue you. It's a potential that they can sue you. They can sue you, but they're the bad guys. So apparently we got some things to do with our laws to make sure it leans more heavily to the people who follow the law rather than lean to the people who don't. Because these people, they don't care at all. They don't care about you. They don't care about your property. They just care about taking what you have, what you worked hard for, and just going on to the next person and doing the same thing to them. They want to victimize. At some point, they need to victimize somebody who's going to turn them into a victim themselves. and then really teach them a lesson or stop them in their tracks cold right then and there. Because if you don't stop them, it's going to happen to the next person and the next person and the next person and the next person. And if you are a man, one thing you should consider is protecting other people. Even if you're not considering protecting yourself, you do want to consider protecting other people. That's just the most selfless way of looking at it.
But this is our reality. And the only thing we can do is educate ourselves as much as possible so that if the day ever comes where we have to make these complex split-second decisions, we can be better at doing it. You see, I often tell people to get some type of concealed carry insurance, like the type you get when you become a member of USCCA. The reason why I work with USCCA and why I like a USCCA membership is because you don't just get access to concealed carry insurance. You also get access to training and a ton of information about how to deal with situations like this from an actual lawyer who does it for a living. That shit to me is invaluable because it can put you ahead of the game if you ever find yourself in a self-defense situation that isn't exactly cut and dry. Defending yourself with a gun is so much more than just putting a gun on your waist and walking out of the door. Self-defense with a firearm is way more complicated than people give it credit for. So don't learn the hard way that your actions may or may not have been justified. So if you're interested in learning more about a USCCA membership, I'll put a link in the description section of this video.
Yeah, he's absolutely right too. And also the insurance that he's talking about, I don't know if USCCA does this, but if you were to shoot somebody else's property while trying to shoot, the assailant and defend yourself, that insurance will take care of their property that you accidentally shot up. So it's a bunch of things with this. Like, people who are against guns are not going to overnight be for guns. People who are for guns are not going to overnight be against guns just because they faced something that scared them a little. It depends, but not full in. But it's something that you should look into. It's something that you should definitely consider before you jump out there with your opinion and try to get other people to be on your side. Because at the end of the day, we work hard. We work damn hard for every single thing we got. And our lives are precious. And a lot of us have our own families to protect. And making sure that you can protect them properly is imperative, in my opinion. But some people don't think so.